All right, so if you're watching this video, I like you because I'm here in my office hanging out in my undershirt, but I wanted to share with you the equipment I'm using to film my videos here at Real Men Real Style, and I'm going to go over from the cameras to lights to my boom mics and my basic setup. So here we go. So first up, my workhorse camera is a camcorder, and this is the Handycam FDR AX53. That's a Sony. It's been out for a few years. There are some newer models. I believe there's a 33, an AX33. It's less expensive. There's also a 43 that just came out. And if I were to buy nowadays, I'd probably buy the 43 because that seems to be a pretty good deal. The thing is, this is a 4K camera, but the files are not huge. And I try to shoot most of my talking head videos in 4K. It gives my editors, and I've got two video editors, by the way, it gives them the ability to basically put things lower. We try to upload at 4K, but if we upload at 1080, that's going to be fine. So I think 1080 is perfectly fine on YouTube. The problem with a lot of 4K cameras out there is that they have huge files. Now the camera I'm using here, and what I use for a lot of, if I want a really crisp, clean, because that's a camcorder. Camcorder, one of the issues, unless you get the right lighting exactly right, is that you're going to be a little bit grainy around the edges. It's not as sharp as a digital SLR. So right here I've got the Canon M50, and to tell you how dedicated I am to this camera, I've actually got two of them. So do I have it over here? Yep. Now, I keep all of my electronics over here in bins so I can find things. So I've got another Canon M50 right here. And the lens I have on this one is not the kit lens. The kit lens, I sit back here, don't use it as much anymore, although it was a fine kit lens, got the job done. But this one right here is an 11 to 22. And that one is great if I want a really wide angle. I also bought a little mini mic, as you can see. The Rode, I believe it's the Mini, and then that was a variation. Actually, I think that one is perfectly fine. I don't know the exact name of it, but you can see it here. You can buy it on Amazon. I think this microphone cost me like $25, and it's as good as the Rode Mini, in my opinion, which is the Rode Mini I'm using right here. But what I like about these microphones, they work with the camera seamlessly. They don't require any type of battery, and they just simply make things happen. So like I said, I've got the kit lens in here. I've got two kit lenses. I probably should resell these. And the kit lens, this comes with a 15 to 45. It's not as sharp, and the other thing about this is it doesn't work as great in low light. I'm shooting right now on an M50, and my favorite lens right now, and this is a Sigma 16 millimeter for the it's a prime lens, and it really opens up. So I think this is like a 2.8 aperture, which if you don't, imagine a hose aperture, basically the numbers work kind of stupid, but basically the smaller the number on aperture, the better, because basically it can open up, and if you can imagine a hose spraying water, if you can open up the hose all the way, it's going to spray out a lot of water. Same thing with light. This allows a lot of light, so you can even see, I don't have my lights on, and it looks bright as day in here. That's what's beautiful about this. It's an amazing low light lens. In addition, very sharp, because it's a prime lens. So you notice the bokeh in the backdrop. That's a big thing, and I wanted that for my digital SLRs. My camcorders will not give that to me. And I say camcorders, I've got another camcorder, which I'll show you here in a second. I don't use nearly as often. So I've got my lights, and I used soft boxes. Each of these I think are like $100. There's different brands out there. I bought cheap ones on Amazon. These are Fovitec, F-O-V-I-T-I-E-C, and I have 4 of those. I probably overdo it, and to be honest, I turned down the lighting. I've also got a paper backdrop. So I went with paper simply because I think it drapes better than cloth, and I've got a couple of paper backdrops over here that I need to eventually re-upload, because this thing, another nice thing about paper is that you can use, as you can see, I've already pretty much used all the paper, and I've cut it off here. This thing is literally on its last edge, but I can also stand on it, and I can pull paper farther out. So paper is great for photography as well. Now the lights over here that I light up the backdrop, these are my LEDs. And one of the issues with LEDs, now this one has a filter on it, but an issue with LEDs is the light isn't nearly as soft. So it can get the job done, but I find it needs to be like reflecting off the ceiling, or it should be farther away. LEDs are great because they're smaller, portable, and they will work in a pinch, but I find that my soft boxes, And another thing, if you got old light bulbs, so I've got some other soft boxes, which I had upgraded to these because I felt the lights were getting really dim on the other ones. So understand, even if the light bulbs don't go out, and these last a long time, the other ones I had them for like 7 years before they started going out. But the problem is they just dimmed and I didn't notice it. These actually do a great job. And I only use, like sometimes there's actually 5 lights in this one and I'm only using one of them. I'm not going to tear it apart. You'll trust me that I'm only using one. In addition, I've got standing tables, which I use to sometimes hold gear, and that makes it really easy. And this right here is just simply, we've got sound sheets under here. And I put this here so we kind of blacken things out. We just grabbed it from the house, my wife did. But I hang these sound sheets, which I got from a company called Audimute, and that helps to eliminate. In addition, I've got a dirty carpet. I'm not going to show you too much of that. But having the carpet with the sound sheets, and I create this like pyramid shape. And what that does is whenever I talk into it, my sound is absorbed by here, 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 and it's not going all over the place. If I come out here, you may start to hear a little bit more of an echo. I don't know if you can hear the echo now, but because, yeah, I just have these wood floors and we've got the echo. Another Fovitec light, so I bought quite a few of these, and then I've got some other ones. These are photonic.com. These are older lights. This is another studio I occasionally use. I bought a light like this. I rarely ever use it. More of like a photography thing. So here's where I'm using these and I'm bouncing them off my ceiling. And this right here, when I bounce these off the ceiling, I also open up. This is for my early morning shoots. And so I open up the window here. I've got the light coming. And this is where you can see my third camcorder, or my second camcorder. Canon 4K Vixia HF G50. It's a good camera, but I find that the 4K files are huge. They're double to triple the size of my Sony's. And I think it's better footage, but the problem is I've got to upload footage and then my videographer has to download it. So for my workflow, that 4K did not work. And if you're editing your own video and you're using 4K, you got to have with files that big, you got to have a really powerful computer. So if your computer is like 3 or 4 years old, or it's a laptop, it's probably not going to be able to go through that 4K as well as it could. Now there's one other camera that I've got. The Panasonic Lumix. Yep, G85. It's a good camera, but it didn't give me, I feel, as natural tones and lights as I wanted, and the Canon I felt just did better, so I upgraded the Canon with new lenses. Another thing that I bought is a battery. I have a wide range of battery. I like having multiples of the same camera. That's in case something happens, and I do occasionally set up multiple camera setup. Another thing I like about the or the M50, and you can do this with the G85 too. Now you can connect them to your computer or find a way so that you could actually use it as your cam, basically your computer cam. And by the way, I use 1080 on both my Canon M50s. They've got 4K, but the 4K capability actually isn't. It's cropped and it's not that great. I keep 2 computers in here. I always want to make sure in case one goes down, I've always got another one. So I got my backup laptop, which is a HP Spectre 13-inch. And then I've got my main desktop, which gets the job done. Now for sound. And then this is just simply a little Sony recorder. It's the SX712, I believe. This thing is like a decade old, yet it's still pretty good. But I do like to have a separate, I always put it on a little stand over here. So as you can see right here, this would go right in here, and then I would record. So I will be recording the sound separate. And I also have a microphone, and I match it up. I like having multiple sound recordings because when I record a video, I put in a lot of work, and if one of the microphone craps out on me, I want to have a backup. And I've had to use, actually, this is like the batteries died occasionally. But overall, I wish that they would make a more modern version of this. They don't. I've also used my Blue Yeti. That one, the problem is I had to have a computer close to me, and then I would have it wired and then recording using Audacity. That's what we did for our first 200 videos. I also have the Tascam. I've got the smaller one. This is right here, is the DR44WL. It's great, but honestly, the smaller one is less expensive, and it does the DR22WL. This is amazing as well, and it's going to be less expensive. So unless you need to, now this microphone nobody talks about for some reason. It's called the Pico Stream. Highly advised. It's a wireless. lavalier mic, and it's amazing. I don't use it that much right now, but I've used it multiple times, and I'd have to say it's the best lavalier mic wireless, and it's $500, so it's not cheap, but it's an amazing tool. The only problem is they're oftentimes out of stock. I've also got a backup Blue Yeti, as you can see here. That was the original Blue Yeti that we used to use. Again, multiple batteries, a variety of tripods. So I always have tons of tripods, different sizes, different weights. For me, as a serious video creator, I never want to not be without gear. So I've experimented with a lot of things. I, though, am not going to get caught up in the technology. To be honest, I feel that I need to be able to get the job done. So I've read a few books on photography, and I would say that that's one of the better things. Photography, videography, spending a little bit of time to educate yourself. And at the end of the day, just get it done. Go out there and shoot. So hopefully this video was useful. And those are my products and what I've got pretty much in 2020 July. That's it. Take care.